In Elden Ring, a dark fantasy role-playing game with a variety of weapons, armor sets, spells, and damage types a tarnished character can adopt, players can create a variety of entertaining character builds. Due to the different stat requirements for lightning-infused weapons and lightning magic, one of Elden Ring's more striking forces, the crackling lightning of ancient dragons, is also one of the most difficult damage types for a character to specialize in. However, Elden Ring's DLC could address this issue in a number of ways, including by adding new melee weapons to the game, expanding the number of close-quarters lightning spells, or providing players with new types of spell-casting catalysts. The ancient dragons who reside in the sky city of Farum Azula and the lands between setting of Elden Ring are known for their use of jagged, crimson lightning is their signature power. In contrast, golden lightning is an emblematic power of the dragon cult in Leyndell, which was established by the deceased demigod Godwyn the Golden. Elden Ring players who want their tarnished to use both lightning-infused weapons and magic from the dragon cult will encounter a number of challenges. Lightning weapons and incantations of Elden Ring scale with different stats. Like most incantations in Elden Ring, Leyndell's dragon cult spells scale with a player character's faith attribute. The higher their faith rating, the more damage each bolt of lightning will deal. Additionally, a faith rating of 40 or higher is necessary to use the most potent crimson-hued incantations of the dragon cult, such as Lansix's glaive, death lightning, and Fortisax's lightning spear. Make faith your main attribute if you want to use lightning incantations to truly cause havoc. Elden Ring has a number of melee and ranged weapons that scale with a character's level of tarnish, but the majority of them deal holy or fire damage. The Bolt of Gransack's spear, the Dragon King's cragblade, the Dragonscale blade, the dragon halberd, etc. are all examples of ancient dragon weapons that are not present in Elden Ring, based on the faith attribute of the player. In fact, most of them have great scaling and dexterity. Future Elden Ring DLC should hopefully resolve the conflict that results from this. Faith builds won't be able to maximize the damage from any lightning-infused weapons they use, while dex builds won't be able to maximize the damage from lightning incantations. Elden Ring Faith builds can obtain effective lightning melee weapons in a few different ways. When infused with the Sacred Affinity, powerful lightning-themed Ashes of War from Elden Ring like Thunderbolt and Lightning Slash scale with Faith. Furthermore, regardless of the amount of Ash of War it has been infused with, the Erdsteel dagger weapon has built-in Faith scaling. The Clawmark Seal, which scales off strength and faith, lightning weapons like the Dragon Great Claw, which scale well off strength, and lightning spells with low faith requirements can all be used by Elden Ring players to create a semi-viable strength lightning build. Alternately, players with hybrid faith confessor builds in Elden Ring can use the Tree Spear or the Troll's Hammer, the only two faith scaling weapons that can be enhanced by the weapon enchantment incantations of the Dragon Cult. An enchanted Troll's Hammer can deal physical, fire, and lightning damage, while an enchanted Tree Spear can deal physical, holy, and lightning damage to a dex faith build. Additionally, the damage of any spells cast with the player character's right hand is slightly increased by the Tree Spear's fixed weapon skill, which temporarily buffs the weapon with holy damage. This can be especially helpful in combat. There are still a few pieces of the puzzle when it comes to creating lightning wielders in the Elden Ring universe. Despite these flaws in Elden Ring's wild one-shot builds, lower-level lightning incantations could be used to deal massive amounts of damage to tarnished PCs with high dexterity, and weapons crafted from dragon body parts. The same is true for Dragon Cultist Faith builds, which would be much simpler to create if players had access to a quick, easy method of electrocuting opponents during close combat. The DLC for the Elden Ring might include a brand new lightning weapon with faith scaling. Future Elden Ring DLC could very easily introduce a weapon for D&D cleric-style player characters that has faith scaling, low strength, dexterity requirements, and innate lightning damage, whether it is set in the enigmatic Badlands or the stained dreams of the demigod Miquella. One type of weapon might be a jagged dagger carved from a dragon's tooth, used in ancient dragon cult rituals, or it might be a spear that Godwyn the Golden, Elden Ring's Prince of Death, used to slay dragons with before being killed and turning into the putrefying Prince of Death, before it was struck by lightning and charred by the flames. With dexterity scaling, the Elden Ring DLC could include new sacred seals. A unique sacred seal that scales with both strength and faith. The Clawmark Seal is given to players by Beast Clergyman Gurrank in the Dragonbarrow area of the lands between. A sacred seal catalyst with good dexterity scaling as well as faith scaling might be included in upcoming paid or free Elden Ring DLC. This would allow owners of lightning weapons in Elden Ring that scale with dexterity to upgrade their faith to the bare minimum required to cast specific lightning spells and then invest the remaining points in dexterity to maximize the damage from their lightning weapon skills. Dragon Cult incantations made for close combat could be added to the Elden Ring DLC. There are a few glintstone sorceries and incantations in the current version of Elden Ring that look and act like melee weapons. For instance, a player can chain cast the low-level Carrion Slicer spell, which summons a spectral sword from their tarnished glintstone staff to dispatch enemies at close range. As opposed to this, Elden Ring's Prophet class begins play with a Catch Flame incantation, a similarly spam-able conjuration of Crimson Flame in the PC's hand. From Software could take inspiration from the spells mentioned above and add a Dragon Cult melee incantation to the game's upcoming DLC in order to increase the close-range combat power of lighting caster PCs in Elden Ring. Some potential concepts include an incantation that summons a small blade or stake of lightning, an incantation that enables casters to stomp the ground and unleash a short-range explosion of lightning, or an incantation that summons red lightning claws in the wielders. If From Software decides to include lightning incantations like these in the upcoming Elden Ring DLC update, they must make these spells easy to learn, quick to cast, and capable of dealing a respectable amount of damage if used repeatedly in quick succession. The Dragon Cult incantations that are already in the main game should not only be thematically distinct from these hypothetical DLC incantations, but also mechanically and visually distinct. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.